Hey everybody, welcome to Module 4. This module is a little bit different from the rest of our schedule. We have very little practical work to do, but we do have a great deal of information to process. It's very much like they just kind of backed up the information truck and unloaded it on you. So I want to take a few minutes and talk about everything and get everything situated. First, the module introduces the different ways to include source materials in your work. Now, this is very important in academic writing. Whether you're writing about the reactions of subjects in your psychological study, about the potential for profits for a new product, or about the meaning of a poem, your reader is going to need you to include data as evidence and reference other studies that show that your conclusions about that data are valid. The key thing in doing this is to make sure that your reader can tell where your ideas end and where the ideas of other people begin, and that they can tell who those people are. This should never be in doubt, all right? So the main ways of importing data from a source are through quotation, paraphrase, and summary. Summary is fairly straightforward. Last time around, I said that all good writing is about one thing. So when you summarize, all you're doing is boiling the whole thing down to how that one thing plays out. This can be done for a 3-page article, and this can be done for a 1,000-page novel. So for instance, if I was to summarize War and Peace, a famously large novel, I could do so in as little as one sentence. It is the exploration of the different phases that love takes as people mature, as evidenced in the various relationships of noble Russian families through the Napoleonic era and beyond. That's it. Now, summary is used in all styles of writing. When you're writing up an experiment in a lab, the first thing you have to explain to your reader are the contexts that lead you to your study. That means that you have to fill them in quickly on what other scientists have done that lead you to think that your experiment is useful. This requires summary. The same thing is true when you go to write about a particular historical incident. In order to make sense of the exact interchange you want to examine, you have to fill the reader in on the background they need to understand your point. This requires summary. I mentioned that summary is not exclusive to any style of writing because the same is not true of quotation and paraphrase. That truck of information that I mentioned is all about MLA and APA style and citation. Both styles use quotation and paraphrase, but each style has a decided preference which stresses one or the other. In MLA, the subject is usually literary, and in MLA, they really stress the significance of being an author. So the exact words of the author are privileged. MLA likes quotes. In APA, the subject is usually scientific, so authorship is not stressed in the same way. Authors are conduits of knowledge and information, and they're useful for tracking the flow of info. But the preference in APA is for you to practice being a conduit yourself and to explain the data as you understand it, in your words. APA tends to prefer paraphrasing. You're asked to make a selection for your style in this module, and that will be helpful. Even if you encounter classes where your professor does not care how you style your paper or how you cite, the articles that you come to study in technical fields will tend to look like APA papers, and the articles within the humanities will tend to look like MLA. So getting familiar with them will be a good first step. Let me also mention that our course looks at MLA according to the 8th edition of that style handbook. That came out in 2016. However, a new edition came out a few months ago. So you'll be seeing a few changes as you move on in your academic career. Mostly, the 9th edition just clarifies questions from the last one. So those alterations aren't too great. I started this all by saying that we don't have a ton to do in this module, and that's true. You have a little activity to point you in the direction of either MLA or APA, And you have a summary to write asking you to reduce your chosen article by Sedaris, Tan, or Broxma to 3 to 4 sentences. That's it for graded activities. What you should be aware of is that our next module is more demanding. Module 5 has 2 written exercises to complete. First, you are to write a reflection on the process of revision specific to your working on your essay for your chosen article. And you are to present a completed draft for your final analysis of that selected article. Probably between these, it really only amounts to maybe 4, maybe as much as 5 pages of writing, but that is more than has been demanded so far. So I just wanted you to be aware of what's coming so you're ready and so that you can use maybe this time to get a little ahead and ready for those Module 5 assignments. As usual, if you have any questions, concerns about anything, if you are not clear on any of my feedback or any of your work, do feel free and get in touch with me. I've had a little bit of outreach from a couple of students, but generally speaking, it's been pretty quiet out there coming in my direction. If you've got questions, ask them earlier rather than later, all right? That's all I've got for you. And if you need me, you know how to get a hold of me. Till next time.